was fucking cool. It's Jimbo, baby. Welcome, everybody, to the video. My name is Jimbo, baby, and today I'm answering your questions. If you recall, a couple days ago, I asked you guys for questions. We hit 10,000 subscribers. Thank you all. We're coming up on 11K too. I think we're at like 10.6 now. We're doing pretty well, guys. But in that video, I asked you in the comment section, ask whatever question you'd like, and then I'll answer it in a coming video. This is that coming video. If you missed that video, that's okay. You know, I'm gonna have one for 20K as well, or maybe 15K, so subscribe now, and once that time comes, which hopefully is soon, you can ask whatever question you got right then and there. But let's get into your questions. Right on my screen right now, I'm gonna put it up. You guys can see I'm going through the comment section of all the comments from like newest first all the way down to the first ones that were asked, of all the comments you guys asked in that video. I gotta say, guys, like, I'm impressed. Like, there's a whole bunch of shit here, which I gotta say, like, I'm happy that I love it. Like, thank you guys for asking these questions, but this is gonna be a long video because I want to answer just about all of them. So sit back, relax, get some work done, let the video play, and maybe while you're doing whatever in the background, you might hear your question answered. Let's get started. First question by RoboMaster898. How much horsepower does your Vette have? It makes 330 to the crank if you got the LT4. I've explained this, you know, in like past videos, but 96 Corvettes only if you got a stick shift, and Camaros couldn't get this. You could get the LT4 motor. That's only if you got a stick shift and had a higher compression ratio and a couple other trick things with the valves or whatnot in the motor. So instead of the LT1, which was in the, you know, the Corvettes and the Camaros of that same generation, instead of making 300 to the crank, it made 330. So to the wheels, it's making about 300. It's a good time, and it's gonna need tires soon. Stefan Weber, if you had $100,000, what would you buy? If I had 100 grand, let's see, I would buy the 64 Impala that I've been looking to buy for a very long time. I would also buy a 1970 Dodge Challenger with a 440, 6-pack, hood scoop. And when I say the hood scoop, I mean like the shaker hood, everything. Mopar spoiler, Hemi orange, 2 black stripes right down the middle. Did you guys ever play the game Driver San Francisco? In the posters, the car was yellow, but in the game it was orange. I fell in love with the car between the way it handled, the way it drove in the game. I want that car. That is my dream daily driver. Speaking of dream cars, iBasedBro1, what is your dream car? I don't have a one specific dream car. The Corvette was, you know, on that list, so to speak, so I've got multiple ones. But it's the 64 that I wanted, the 64 Impala, the 70 Challenger. This sounds really stupid, but I'd love to get it, you know, at some point, maybe like a, you know, I want a Bugatti. Just so I can film me, like, it's been done a million times before, but like getting up, like, and playing the song I Woke Up in a New Bugatti, it's so dumb, but I feel like I'd get the car just to flip it right afterwards. They're not worth anything, like, compared to what they were market-wise, they're not worth anything now. When you buy a car that's worth that much money, you buy it so it appreciates the minute you buy it. Instead of depreciating that car, just depreciate it. So collectors that bought the car, they made too many. Why, like, Bugatti, why'd you make so many Bugattis? 64 Impala, 1970 Dodge Challenger, C4 Corvette, and honestly, at the moment, that's all I'm really looking for. Oh, 2003 Lamborghini Murcielago with a stick shift. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 got me right here, big time. Jonathan Guts. I say Jonathan because it doesn't have the H. What are your inspirations? In terms of inspirations, I think it's just an internal drive. I have many people that I'm inspired by. One of the people, I look up to Casey Neistat a lot, you know, just his mindset, you know, it's funny. I have a quote right here that I have taped. Oh, Jesus. I taped this to my monitor over here because every now and then when I'm editing, you get that phase in your head, like you want to do, like, you just want to keep working, but you can't focus on working. And I wrote this because I read this once and it got me. I was laying on that couch over there. And I was laying down and I heard this and I got back up and I kept working and I finished the video. It said, I have no sympathy for you men. I have a full-time job, wife, kids, bills, life responsibilities. If it's something you're truly passionate about, you'll find time for it. I wrote that down. Gives me a little inspiration every now and then. But Casey, you know, like he's on my bucket list of people to meet. You know, a lot of other people that, you know, kind of inspire me are younger YouTubers. So, you know, like You know, Tanner's done a lot of work in his day. It's not like one day he just magically blew up. He put the work in, and now he's where he is. He's had great success, but it wasn't given to him. Like, I mean, the man, like, have you seen him ride a scooter? Adam LZ is definitely up there. Very hardworking guy, on the bucket list, of course, of people to meet. David Patterson, that dude in blue, I had the privilege of meeting him a couple days ago. It was a lot of fun. David, if you're watching this, thank you for watching. When I get the Corvette back, I'm bringing it to you. The Master Shifter. Are you planning to get a warehouse so you can get you another car? A warehouse, that's called a garage. The first order of business is getting my own damn place to live. Once I do that, maybe, well, wherever I plan on living, I hope to have a garage in there. In terms of like a separate campus or a separate estate off of where I live to store cars, I don't have enough cars to do that. I have a daily driver, 1994 Altima, that I love to death. And then I have my Corvette. I don't really need a giant warehouse like Jeffrey has, for example, or TJ now, or anything. Live in a place where you can have your house, and then you can have your cars, and they're all in the same place, and you can do whatever the hell you want, and it's enough space to do everything. That's the key. Are you going to do any performance updates for your Vet? This is by Ben Athers. Yes. When the Corvette comes back, we're going to be talking about that. Like, where I'm going to sit down, like right here probably, or maybe in the car talking to you guys about what's going to be happening to that. As I said, I kind of, you know, I think I said in my video a little while ago, I don't want to do a build series, but that's full of shit. I do want to do a build series with that car. Many times with builds with YouTubers' cars, they don't say it outright, but you can probably figure it out. A lot of it are sponsorship parts. You contact the company, tell them, hey, you know, I could do this, that, and the other for you. If you could provide this, I can make videos on it. That's something I'd like to do in the future because, you know, honestly, I don't just have like $10,000 just sitting around to just modify my Corvette. As much as I'd love to just do that, I'd rather, you know, talk with some companies, see what they'd like to do, and, you know, bring their ideas to the table. And that's like the business part of YouTube that I don't like to air so much on videos, and most YouTubers don't, just because nobody really wants to hear that. They just want to see the video. And that's my job. I bring you the final video. So to answer your question, yes, we are going to be talking about that. Shit's getting done to that car. Peoria students. Oh, Jesus, I messed that up. When are you going to drive a Camaro? Oddly enough, there is somebody I know that might let me drive his Camaro. It's like an LS3 or something. I have to contact him and talk to him about it. It's cammed. It sounds like the devil. I'd love to drive it. I just need to talk to the guy and see if we might want to work something out. Who knows? So in terms of, you know, in the next, honestly, I don't know, but it's on the list, okay? Rafe Salinas, I'm watching you for a long time and I really like the videos you make. Oh, thank you. I wanted to ask what gear you use because I make car videos and I'm still new to it, so very helpful. Okay, I get this question all the time now. What gear do you use? And there is one person, I'm sorry I'm forgetting your name. Every time somebody asks it in the comments, he immediately responds with like every single piece of gear I use, which props to you if you figure that out. Just a quick rundown, Lumix GH4, 12 to 35 millimeter lens, DJI Ronin M, you know, gimbal, Phantom 3 Pro drone, Adobe Premiere, GoPro Hero 4. I have a 5 now that I've been using that I kind of like. Tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna put all the links of the gear I use. I think Casey does this too, kind of think of it. All the shit I use, I'm just gonna put in my about section or my description from now on. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That makes sense. It's not that I wanna be secretive about what I use. It's just like, I can't respond to the same question over and over and over again, because I'm pretty sure that's not the only time this question's been asked in this comment section. What's next? Preston Macy, why all the boxes in your room? You're referring to these. There is a shit ton of boxes right here. I'm gonna tell you why. I ship a lot of stuff out from eBay. You know, when I sell stuff, you know, I buy and sell a lot of different things. You know, whether it's camera equipment that I use for a little while and then send it back to either Amazon. I always keep all the boxes for everything in case I do want to ship stuff. Also, where my mom works, you know, I've picked up a whole bunch of boxes from there for like shipping stuff. So it's just a giant conglomerate of boxes sitting there waiting to be used. I don't know what they're going to be used for. I will admit it's very, very overkill, but you know, it's there. And I'll tell you what, if I ever need to ship anything, I will not ever have to worry about doing so. Mr. Card, damn, last time I checked you were at 7K. Wasn't that like last week? Oh, I wish it was last week. Joel SRY, how many miles does the Altima have on it? I've put a damn large amount of miles on that car. Come to think of it, I don't even remember how many miles it had when we picked it up. That car, just a quick backstory if none of you guys know. That car has been in my family since day one of being purchased. It was my dad's car. He gave it to my uncle who passed. And once I got my learner's permit, which was actually oddly enough on my birthday, we went up to Connecticut where it was located and we drove it all the way back home. That was actually the first time I ever really drove. And that sounds really stupid, but you know, I had a couple, instances of joyriding before I had my learner's permit. So, but in terms of the mileage, right now it's sitting at, I think, 165K or something. It's high, it's up there. I drive that thing everywhere and it's 100% reliable. I love that car. That car is never being sold. I'm also very attached to that car because of my uncle. You know, he had a big impact on my life. All the stuff that's not in frame that's right over here was where his bed used to be. Now it's just a whole bunch of stuff from his house that, you know, we haven't gone through at all in the last couple years. But you know, like I have a lot of attachment to that car, sentimental value. But yeah, that's mileage, 165K. Braco, what cameras are you using and which editing software? That's been answered. The Dapper Llama, what pushed you to do camera work, filming, YouTube, etc., and how did you get started? Okay, so just a quick rundown. I think I'm gonna devote a whole video to this because it's kind of an interesting story. When I was really, really young, I wanted this electric scooter and I wanted it so bad. It was like one of those Razor scooters that goes like 15 miles an hour. And I wanted that so incredibly bad. And my parents said, you know what, you should get, like, at the time, this like Kodak, you know, like, remember the flip camcorders? You know, the ones where you press a button and like the USB flips out so you can put it in your computer? Kodak made one at the time. And my parents said, you know, you should get this. And finally I gave in. I was like, yeah, get me the video camera. Ever since then, I made like home videos, and then that transitioned to me making gaming videos eventually, which is on a YouTube channel that if you do enough digging on YouTube, you'll find it. I'm not revealing it here. If you really want to know where my gaming stuff like started, you got to go digging for it. And I know there's a couple people watching now that watched my gaming stuff, you know, back in the day, or even played with me. I'm thinking of, hey Snakefist, hey AC130. Please do not reveal to everyone in the comments what it is. Let them find it for themselves, okay? But really, it kind of started with gaming, and I really enjoyed making videos there. And as school went on, I didn't really have much time to make gaming videos anymore, and I kind of lost the passion. I lost the fire, because when you start making videos, or any kind of videos, you know, you're motivated at first and you put all of your effort, all your time into making these videos, and that's awesome. But if you don't see things progress, you don't see things get any better, you don't think your videos are getting any better, or whatever the case is, or you don't have an outlet to make more content, which is nice, because with gaming, there's always an outlet to make more content. You just get on PlayStation or whatever. Sometimes it becomes discouraging, and sometimes, you know, you lose that fire. What really kind of reignited my like inner fire to make videos, my passion, was when I started taking a film class in high school junior year. I took a film class, and it was a college level class. I took it senior year and junior year. Junior year, then senior year. I don't know why I said those backwards. If you go to film school, all the stuff that I basically learned in there, you would have learned in college. You know, it was a college level class. So when a lot of people ask me, like, where does your film knowledge come from? That's where it's from. Like, I mean, there's a general, like, some people are kind of like quote unquote gifted in making videos. Like, I just have an eye for, you know, what I think needs to be shot. And after, you know, time and years of doing it, you just get used to, you know, like storytelling, and you're always thinking of different ways to tell the story. The nice thing about that film class was not only did it reinforce, you know, like some of my structure and what I wanted to do, and taught me some new ways of doing stuff, but it put a name to a lot of the different theory I was using, you know, like with color correction and grading and like rule of thirds and, you know, like film theory and mood and lighting. And I used to play saxophone a lot, and I was never very good at the theory portion of like music, jazz, like improvisation theory, but I always had a good ear. Like, you play a song in this key, and if you told me the key or whatever it is, I could play you a good song. I don't need to look at no. But once senior year was over and I had gotten the Corvette, I decided I wanted to make Corvette videos, and I started making more Corvette videos. And then I was going to college, and when I started, you know, making more and more videos, and YouTube kind of like picked up, so to speak. Like, I mean, it's not like ridiculous, but you know, like I started seeing more and more people actually enjoyed my content, and I really enjoyed making it. You know, like, I mean, it's hard work, but I enjoy it a lot, and that's why I do it. But, you know, I just decided that this is what I want to do. Like, I mean, even when I was in college, all I was thinking about was making YouTube videos. So I figured, instead of wasting my time, you know, going for a degree that has nothing to do with like what I really enjoy, I might as well just devote all my time to this. And my parents and I had a very, very long chat about all of this, you know, and it's just ridiculous, you know, like my parents really didn't like the idea, but you know, now they support me. One way or another, they support me, whether it's financially, which is a big part of it, but also emotionally. And there's a very long time, and even to this day, like where I don't get, you know, any kind of emotional support from anybody else, and I have to self-motivate myself. And that's another reason why I love making content with other, you know, creators, is because they share a similar passion. And that's really what also keeps me going. It's sort of like when you go to the gym with somebody, they push you to go farther. Darren Arnold, don't have a Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Damn, like, how do you live? But I still got a question. Are you still getting a motorcycle? Funny you talk about that. The motorcycle, there's a hint within this video that's playing right now, and if you look hard enough, you'll figure out what it is. Let's just say the motorcycle deal, that's coming real soon. Jake Johnson, would you ever engine swap the Vet? Absolutely not. No. Guys, one of the whole reasons I bought a 96 was because of the motor that was in it. I am very attached to that motor. I'm not gonna stroke it. I'm not gonna, I want that motor to remain the same way that it was when I bought it. Like, yeah, I would love to pro charge it one day or like make it much faster, but I don't want to change the motor into something else. I bought an LT4 Corvette. I want it to stay an LT4 Corvette. Just my preference. Do I want a 2,000 horsepower Corvette? Yeah, but it isn't gonna be mine. Thank you for the question though. Blackest of the black. Favorite part of the Corvette? Seat, digital gauges, pop-up lights, clamshell hood. Man, you name them all. Geez, this is a hard question. Favorite part of my Corvette? I wanna say the color. I love the color of that car, just the way it looks. I would also have to say the exhaust makes me really, really happy. In terms of like a single attribute, I said the paint, but pop-up headlights are great because it's not just this like standard just pop up, they like flip up, which is really cool. And also the clamshell hood, I really like that clamshell hood. No other Corvette did anything even remotely like that. It looks like a damn F1 car. I really like that because of it. GameTube 2370, what do you think is your next fun or cool car? What will it be? What is the next thing you're gonna do to the Corvette? In terms of next thing to do to the Corvette, as I said, the Corvette is away, for maintenance, so to speak, and you guys will hear about that soon. Joe's bike is also away for maintenance, and so is Jeffrey's Lambo, if I'm not mistaken. All of those are coming back mid-February, something around there, so to speak, so I think I'll fill you in when that comes. But in terms of next fun cool car, the next fun cool car ideally would be a 64 Impala with hydraulics, and I got a lot of plans for that once that happens. I do want to build like a ridiculously overpowered car, like a 2,500 horsepower like G-body or something. That would be so much fun. The thing is, right now, as fun as that would be, I don't know enough people in the industry, so to speak, that would make sense for me. I'd love to build it with friends or people that I've met throughout, my YouTube career. I don't really want to just take it to a shop, pay them a whole shit ton of money, and then like 3 weeks or a month later I come back and it's done. Like I want to know what's happening to my car, not just get it as a present. So down the line, I'd love to build something like that, but in terms of the next car, so to speak, or fun, or like YouTube or whatever, because all the cars I buy, I don't buy them for YouTube. I buy them with the intent that I will make videos with them as well as, like my own personal 64 Impala, hydraulics, it's coming. Christopher Elena, do you watch Game of Thrones? And even if I had time to watch TV, which I don't, hell no. I'm just not a fan of that genre. Really the only stuff that I kind of watch, so to speak, I'll watch gameplay, playthroughs or some other gaming channels or whatnot every now and then, I like to stay up to date with my past, but I only play that stuff, in the background of me doing something else, whether it's like shipping shit out or, doing some other research. But yeah, I don't watch TV. Jay's channel. I'm subscribed and followed on you on everything, but what's some advice for smaller channels like myself, and keep up the good work on your channel? Thank you. And don't worry, I will. In terms of smaller channels, this goes for just about every smaller channel I could possibly think of. This is what you're gonna wanna do. Find the thing that you really, really like the niche or, whatever you're really interested in, and grind the shit out of videos for that within that niche. If you are a Corvette person, make Corvette videos, and you will find success within that community, and that will branch off into other things. That's what I did, and I've met a whole shit ton of people since then. If you're into trucks, if you're into motorcycles, if you're into... At this point on YouTube, man, it does not even matter. One day you could blow up on YouTube. Look at Jeffrey. In 1 week, he gained well over 100K. It pissed off the entire internet. You never know what works. You just make videos of what you find interesting, and at the same time think about, okay, I like this video. Is anybody else gonna like it? Take that into consideration with every video you make, or whatever your niche is. Also, you wanna set a schedule for yourself. I'm trying to upload daily now. I just failed, but I'm trying to upload 5 times a week. And if I can make that, it makes me happy and I get more things done. And there's a very strong correlation of the harder you work, the more opportunities you end up getting. So that's my advice to you. Inside Electronics, congrats on 10K. What's your next vehicle? Motorcycle, car? It's gonna be a bike. Mitchell Drago, question. Did you ever hear of IMSA? And would you ever go to a race and film all the sick cars? I would go to a racetrack and film sick cars. IMSA, I think actually I saw, did you email me at some point about this? I might have seen it at some point, but I've never heard of that. If it's a race organization, I've never heard of it. However, I wouldn't mind. I just gotta also worry about travel expenses. If it's gonna cost me $200 in gas to go somewhere, it's Vegas girl, why did you get a car that you can't screw in? Oh no. It depends on which one you're talking about. You're talking about the Altima, there's plenty of room in there. The Corvette, you're gonna have to get creative on that one. But Corvettes and Gains, do you plan on upgrading your daily driver? Absolutely not. That car is staying 100% bone stock because of the sentimental value. I do not want to change that car. I want it to be the same way it has always been. This sounds really lame. Sorry, it's just, you know, my preference. When the engine blows up, I'm putting a brand new KA24DE motor in there. When the trans blows up, that 4-speed slush box automatic, I'm going to put another 4-speed slush box automatic into it. That car means way too much for me to put a loud fart canister exhaust on it. And at one point I tried. If you go through my Instagram, you'll even look. There was at one point where I had a whole bunch of car parts I ordered for it, including an exhaust. But my dad made me send it all back, and I can't say how. Thank you, Dad, for stopping me. Like, really. Do you plan on taking the Corvette to the drag strip? After I get it back, it's on the list. It's gonna happen within this year. I'll tell you that. Average Texas Redneck. Good name. On a scale of 1 to 10, how redneck would you say you are? I'm about an 8. You can just see how redneck I am on my channel. I'll go look at that in the future. I probably have seen, and come to think of it, I think I've clicked on your channel before. You are a redneck, I must say. In terms of redneck, I definitely have my own, you know, redneck sense in me. I think I'm closer to like a 6 or a 7. Because like I love jerry-rigging and doing stupid shit, you know, that would only be classified as just, we can't say retarded anymore because that's an insult, so just stupid. I love doing redneck things, and I have a lot of friends that are redneck people, so probably around a 6 or a 7. I still got my diplomat side, you know, like I know how to handle myself professionally, but then there's that whole other side. Reed Kramer, where did you get the money for your vet? Okay, so interesting thing. A little over 2 years ago, I was looking for cars, and at the time, I had my sights set on buying like a cheap piece of shit Miata, like for $1,500 or $2,000. And I remember watching an episode of Roadkill. I think it was when they restored like that 55 like Jimmy truck or something, and in the background, I don't remember where it is. Maybe I'll put an insert from this in the video. But there was like a Corvette in the background, like an 80s Corvette, and I saw it and I was like, you know, I wonder how cheap you can get Corvettes now. And I went online, and I like Auto Trader, and I typed in Corvette for sale, and I could not believe how cheap you could buy Corvettes. I'm thinking to myself, I can get a Corvette that makes like 200 plus horsepower. I'm thinking like Miata terms because they only make 100 horsepower. 200 horsepower. Get an old Corvette, makes a whole shit ton more horsepower than just about anything else that my friends drive, and it'll be dirt cheap. It'll be like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I got obsessed with that idea, and the realization hit me that Jimmy needs a job. So I got a job at I was at a music store, and after just about 2 weeks, I quit because the owner was a complete asshole. Then I went over to a place that I used to eat at like all the time during freshman and sophomore year, and the owner, he wasn't the owner, he was the general manager, or he might have been the assistant manager at the time, but he was gay, and I think he liked me. He didn't know I was a high school student. I think he thought I was in college, but either way, he offered me a job there, and I took the job, worked my ass off at that job, worked way too many hours, included with another acrobatics job I had a while, because I used to also do acrobatics like freshman year of high school. I worked, you know, some birthday parties there, day shifts, you know, like with, you know, camp counseling. I enjoyed working there. There were weeks where I had like 75 to 80 hour work weeks. And every dollar I saved, every dollar that I earned, I put towards the Corvette. If I had to take some money out here and there, you know, like for food, whatever, but I didn't buy shit. I didn't like spend money on like toys. My parents kept saying this money is gonna burn a hole in your pocket and you're never going to, you know. I saved. I proved them wrong. I had the money. At the time of me looking up the Corvette, I probably had like to my name about $8,500 or $9,000. And the car was, we agreed on $12,500. So my parents helped me out with the end of that payment, and I told them I will pay them back, which I will. Now you're probably thinking, okay, well if you're gonna pay them back, then why do you have all of this shit with you? Like, being that I'm pursuing YouTube as like my career, so to speak, you know, just as, you know, like your parents would finance, if, you know, they had the money, God bless your parents if you have the money or like the opportunity to go to college. My parents had money set aside for me for college, and instead of spending it on college, what we did was we spent it on, some of it we have spent it on, you know, like my camera equipment I've spent it on, travel expenses, you know, right now, like, I mean, I'm holding off on paying off the Corvette because they're giving me like a pass, so to speak, not paying for the Corvette at the moment. They're paying for the insurance right now, technically, hell, even the gas, because I'm using my dad's gas card that he gave me. I'm a dependent, but the thing is, if you think about it from just another standpoint, like, yeah, you know, I'm being financed by mommy and daddy, but, you know, just as you'd be going to college, and if you were being paid for by mommy and daddy, they'd be paying for the dorm, they would be paying for the classes, they would be paying for your meal ticket if you needed to get one. Virtually all the same things, just in a different world. So my world is YouTube. And really, if you think about it, if you add up every dollar that has been spent for like YouTube expenses, it still wouldn't equate to how much it would have cost for me to go to the college that I would have gone to, like continue going to. Tuition in Montgomery County is a bitch. Oh Lord. But to answer your question, I saved like for like just 2 straight years just trying to get that Corvette, you know, working throughout like high school, whatever the case was, just to get that car. I sacrificed many hours to get that car, and you know, I'm very proud of it because of that. Christian Gomez, why a C4 and not a C5? For the price you paid on that LT4, you could have gotten an LS C5. Yes, I could have, but the LS would have been the shittiest C5 Corvette I could have possibly bought. First of all, the car that I fell in love with was the 96 LT4. Like, I wanted the LT4 because it was different from everybody else. I wanted a 96 because of the year. You know, the C5 is nice, but it looks to me like a giant piece of plastic Tupperware. Like, I think they're great cars, but it's just there's you compare the interiors, like the C4 has better styling than C5. Like, sorry, it does. And if you look at the C7, you look at the whole like center gauge console, it's ripped right off of the old C4. C5 never struck me, and I see a lot of them anyway. C4s, I get compliments all the time on that car. Plus, you got to take into consideration reliability, low mileage. I want to use it. I drive that car basically every day. Like right now I can't, but you know, like when it wasn't in the shop, and I wail on that thing. Like a C5 of equal, you know, condition probably would have cost upwards of 18 or 19K. So, you know, not worth the money. I didn't like the style, and definitely not in the budget. So there really wasn't any point. So I wanted a C4. That's what I bought. Aaron Russell, Jumbo. Yeah, autocorrect is a bitch. What do you see yourself doing as a long-term job? P.S. You're my favorite YouTube. Well, thank you. As a long-term job, I'd like to do this. You know, like you don't become financially independent overnight on YouTube. I know there are some cases, but either way, you know, it takes time to build a loyal following. And you got to start somewhere, you know, whether it's you start while you're at a full-time job, wherever, or you start while you just commit your whole life to doing it. And frankly, this is my plan A. And if I have a plan B, which many people have told me to have a plan B, I will end up falling back on that plan B. So I'm going to put all my energy, all my time into doing this. And if it flunks, if it doesn't work, then I'll just have to pursue something else. YouTube is the current plan. TR Vlogs, congrats on 10K. Thank you. My question, how far in advance do we need to book you for a shoot? Also, how do we contact you to book you? I'm local in Maryland. Okay. Interesting thing, if you're looking for a professional video service, now this is something I do offer. That is something, just contact me whenever about it. You know, it's the kind of thing where if you really, it's just as soon as possible. I mean, the sooner in advance you contact me, the easier it is for me to plan, and the easier it is for me to, you know, just be able to schedule my own shit. In terms of pricing or whatnot, that's something that you and I would have to have a private conversation with over the phone. If you want to contact me, my email is in my About section. That's the best place to go. Mason Connor, what's a good way to start a channel and get it out there? I was wondering the same. I kind of touched on this earlier, you know, but really this is, if you want a publicity for your channel, first of all, any publicity is good publicity, no matter what it is. Famous line from Eazy-E, but like specific tips. I don't care what your niche is, I'm sure there's a community for it around you somewhere. For me, I wanted to film cars, make videos about cars, so I started going to every car show I could think of, as long as I had some sleep in me. Filming them, making videos. Some of my earlier videos are, you know, like little montages of cars. Like, they're not great, you know, by my standards now, but, you know, I was trying and I was getting experience through doing that. Through that, I met plenty of people. In fact, the first time I ever went to Katie's Cars and Coffee, I met Jeffrey, JR Garage. We talked there, I talked to him, you know, I went to DC Exotics, I met Jogo 101, you know. You put yourself out there, whatever the niche is, wherever you want to go, and you meet people through that, and as long as you're friendly, you're professional, and you don't sound like someone that's just riding someone's dick for views or whatever the case is, you know, things can typically work out well. Just be courteous and careful the way you present yourself. You don't want to present yourself as a complete fucking moron, but you definitely want to present yourself as being you. I'm a crazy guy, and anybody who knows me will say the same thing. You know, in terms of like, people think, oh yeah, you know, when you do burnouts in front of other YouTubers, you're showing off. No, I'm not really. I kind of just do that on a daily basis. But if I'm giving a YouTuber a ride that has 615,000 subscribers and he's recording and I'm going to be in one of his videos, I probably want to make a name for myself and, you know, make a statement, because everyone remembers the first impression. So that's what I would say for getting yourself out there. Literally, just put yourself out there. That's the way to go. In terms of like online marketing, like obviously if you have an Instagram, you know, like, you know, blast your Instagram, set up your social media, you know, accordingly to whatever you're doing. You know, people think that, you know, making a YouTube channel is very easy. To make a successful YouTube, like, you know, name, like an LLC or a brand, you know, you really want to like have all your social media names, like you want to have those names. Like, I'd be pissed as shit if, you know, my channel name, Jimbo's channel, was taken already. It is on YouTube. My URL is Jimbo's channel 605. somebody took Jimbo's channel already, so fuck me. Like, Victor Bozo, the camera work in your bio videos looks amazing. Well, thank you. What kind of cameras do you use to produce them? GH4. How long does it take to capture all the footage put together in a video? Oh God, way too fucking long. Is anybody else helping you out with the camera work? The actual camera stuff, no, that's all me. In terms of, if you think about roller shots, somebody's gotta be driving the car. I can't be driving a car and hanging out the side of it at the same time. So many times, like when I go to a film shoot, I'll call up one of my good friends, like my friend Jason. You know, I've known Jason for years, and you know, every time I want to go film something, he's usually eager to help me out because he just likes meeting new people. Mo, when he was in the country, you know, like Mo always helped me with literally everything I needed to do. And basically any other person that I could sucker into doing work for me for free. Just playing though. Thank you all to anybody who has ever helped me in the past with the video. Really though, thank you very much for everything. Because like, I mean, if it wasn't for you, the video wouldn't have turned out the way it did. And last thing, do you have any more bio videos in the works? Yes and no. You know, like those things take a lot of time to organize. And there's, you know, the other channel that has done bio videos or like getting to know videos. You guys, I'm sure, have seen the channel like Gears and Gasoline. You know, they were the first one to release a bio video. Like at the time that they released their first bio video for a YouTuber, I was filming Jeffries. But technically they were the first ones that ever, you know, like released one. So someone even told me once, they're like, hey, you know, like this is, you know, you're ripping off Gears and Gasoline. I'm not attempting to rip anybody off, you know, like I saw an opportunity to film a, you know, a feature film because I like filming those kinds of videos of somebody I looked up to, Jeffrey, you know, someone who's, you know, done very well for himself at a very young age. And, you know, I filmed the video because I wanted to and I had a passion for it. And I knew it would do well for my own channel and it would be cool for him to have. Same thing with Rob Ferretti. God, that couldn't have turned out any better. I'm not talking about the package. I'm talking about like the opportunities I've had. Like the package was a complete fuck up. Like that's ridiculous. Ball Bros, do you like Mustangs? Yes and no. Do you like Mustangs? And what do you think of the new Dodge Demon? Congrats, man. I've subbed and turned on the bell. Right on. Good for you. I'm also at 1K. Very excited. Well, cool, man. 1,000 people. Rock on. I will say like the hardest milestone in my opinion is, you know, like once you get past like 100 subscribers, then it's 1,000. Once you get past 1,000, then it's getting past 10,000. I just got past 10,000, which I'm very happy about. I'm looking forward to now. The big milestone is obviously 100,000. In terms of Mustangs, I have a special attachment to Fox bodies. I do like SN95s. The new Mustangs, like I just don't care about. They don't excite me. Like I know they're retrofitting, you know, like the older ones, and that's cool and all. But it's sort of like the new Dodge Challenger. Like I mean, the Demon, I just want to see how much horsepower it puts out. Like say it's like 850 horsepower. 850 horsepower to the wheels with a fucking warranty. Like sign my ass up. The older ones are classics and they're priced accordingly. And I fall into that category of liking the older ones. The newer ones I can appreciate, they're great. I think that, you know, the technology is amazing. They just don't excite me. So thank you for the question, however. ThunderBuddy35, what was your original career choice? Now this is an interesting topic. I flipped back and forth throughout my high school years, like what I want to do. Even one point I wanted to be a fucking DJ. Like, you know, but it was all kind of remotely around the idea of creation. Content creation was the biggest part, and that's what I ended up devoting my time to. But at some point I wanted to go to business school. I was trying to get into UMD's School of Business, and that failed miserably. I didn't know what business I wanted to run or be a part of. I just wanted to have my own business, and frankly, YouTube is kind of my own business, and it's what I understand, and that's what I love. Journalism was also up there. I really wanted to work for Hot Rod Magazine. You know, like after watching Roadkill, I was like, why wouldn't you want to work for Hot Rod Magazine? But that's just about it. There wasn't really anything else. I thought about going to film school, but I didn't like the idea of being the guy that holds like a boom microphone or just operates the camera. Like I fell in love with making, that's why I love YouTube so much. I fell in love with making the videos, making it, you know, like planning it, filming it, editing it, producing it, sharing it. That's what I fell in love with. I didn't fall in love with making videos to go to a set and only do one thing. Like, no. If all you like to do is edit videos, great, do that. If all you like to do is direct, if all you like to do is, you know, like use a camera, whatever, that's what you want to do. Me, I like making a video, not just being part of the production of a video. I just don't care. So those were some of my original career choices, and this is the only thing I've really felt like certain on. So this is what I'm pursuing now. Eagle Eye 270, what would be a good, cheap, first sports muscle car to learn to drive stick and mod? Easy, F-bodies, by far. Oh my God. F-bodies are the way to go. It's Chevy, it's reliable, you can get a V8, probably, I think you can get like an LT1, like not necessarily the LS1. The LS1 started in 1998 and lasted to 2002 on F-bodies. However, if you don't want to spend upwards of $6,000, if you just say, you said a good cheap one, so I'm thinking you're probably, you know, around the numbers of like 2 to 5. you can get a good LT1 with the stick shift with about 80 to 90K for around that price range, and that'll be reliable. You know, Chevy motors, as long as the maintenance is done on Chevys, you know, change your oil like every 3,000 miles to play it safe. I don't give a fuck what kind of oil you're running that thing. It'll run for 300,000, no problem. Like, those things are reliable. I would stay kind of clear of Mustangs because, you know, they're kind of hit and miss. You know, I've seen some very reliable SN95s because that's kind of what your price range is, I'm guessing. But then I've seen some very unreliable SN95s. So, you know, I kind of stay away from the Mustang kind of area. F-body, Camaro, or an old Corvette, you know, like, they're kind of the way to go. I'd be weary, though, about some of, like, the late 80s Corvettes because they had wiring issues. Like, the LT motors are like the most reliable and what you're looking for. He also asked, and what system did you game on? PS3. I might be starting to do some Xbox One or PS4 stuff. I don't know yet. Congrats on 10K. You deserve more with all the effort you put in. Well, thank you, and I hope that eventually it does grow bigger. Murferator OG, what can I buy for my first car for $5 grand? I kind of just answered this, but F-bodies are great. You know, you can get an old Corvette, but I really wouldn't buy a C4 for less than 5. Unless it was like a family friend, just simply because $5 grand for a Corvette, like, just saying that kind of sounds wrong. Of course, you know, you got SN95s, Fox bodies are pretty cool. But, you know, in terms of a reliable car for $5 grand, like, you can't go wrong with an F-body. F-bodies are cool. And that's the thing, like, I mean, I know muscle cars, like, I'm sure there's a slew of different imports. Like, I know BMW M3s you can get, 330i's, you know, there's some Volkswagens that are pretty good. I just don't know the scene very well, so I couldn't really help you too farther in the import scene. I'm just looking at the comments right here. 1984 to 1989 Corvette. Awesome car, sports car for the money, very reliable. Yes and no, some are very reliable, but then there are the ones that have wiring issues with the liquid crystal dash display, which can kill the battery. You know, there's alternator, like, things I've heard about that. But you're right, in general, it's a very reliable car. The transmission's reliable too. The Muncie or whatever the hell's in that thing, I'm probably saying that wrong or it's the wrong name, but it has that, oh no, excuse me, it's a Doug Nash, like 4+3. That was an interesting transmission. Yes, it can be reliable, but just be careful of the mileage. If it's high mileage, I wouldn't touch it. I am a person 27. Nice name. How will you know that I followed you on Instagram and Twitter? Yes, that is my question, and yes, I follow you for both, or do I? You know, here's the funny thing. I literally said that, one, because I wanted you guys to make sure you were following me on there. You're right, I have absolutely no way of checking that, but I did get you to follow me, didn't I? Levi the Fox, what got you into cars, and what is your favorite car of all time? What got me into cars, I think it's been in my blood. Even before I was able to talk, like when I had like little Hot Wheels cars, my mom was telling me I was making car noises, like before I could even talk. So I guess it really is just kind of a blood thing. She's like, how do you know how to make car noises? Like, I mean, it's just like, you know, in my head it made sense, so whatever. Favorite car of all time, though, don't really have one per se. I touched on some of my dream cars, so to speak, but like an all-time dream car kind of implies that you'd only want, if you only could have one car, it would be this one. Don't really have one. I want multiple ones, which is the expensive way out of that question. J91010, ever thought of upgrading to a newer Corvette? Absolutely not. Not happening. Sorry. I like my car and I like the age of it and I like everything about it. I have no reason to go to a newer car that just has even more plastic. JJ Offer, will you ever be in Kansas City? I don't know, and if I got something to go there for, if I'm filming something, I'll let you know. Message me. If I'm sure when I go to Kansas, I'll be updating on my YouTube channel, so stay tuned, obviously, and you know, if I say I'm going to Kansas, hit me up on Gmail. Maybe we could set something up, who knows. Mr. Purple, congrats on 10K. Thank you. Would you ever have a DMV meet and greet? Really, the best way to do that? Well, first of all, I kind of, you know, with the things that Joe, Jeffrey, and I are doing, and hopefully in mid-February when I get the Corvette back, I think we're going to have a very large, you know, meet and greet for all of us, like all three of us together. You know, because a lot of us share subscriberships and whatnot, just simply because, you know, we hang out together, we make videos together, and by nature, people cross over. Like, I know that, like, one of the questions I already asked, like, Murferator OG, I think you were you originally a Jogo viewer, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was a JR Garage viewer? Either way, the best thing for that would be Katie's Cars and Coffee, or some other Katie's Cars and Coffee. I wouldn't want to just devote, you know, like, a meet and greet to one place, because the thing is, Katie's Cars and Coffee is not, it's not 100% sanctioned, but it's sanctioned enough to the point where people can meet and have a good time, and a lot of people can be in one place and no one's gonna get in trouble. I don't want to go to a parking lot and be told everyone needs to leave. So for a DMV meet and greet, yeah, Katie's Cars and Coffee, we'll keep you updated on when we're all three of us are going, or I'm going, and yeah, y'all can say hi. It's just too cold right now, man. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. Mad Dodge, if you have the money, do you plan to buy a new Corvette or turbo or supercharger Corvette? I would not buy a new Corvette, but I would supercharge my Corvette in a heartbeat. heartbeat. Just need to find $6,300 and then I'll buy a Pro Charger kit and we'll be good to go. Reese ECB, Q&A question. What are you doing to your Corvette LOL? Well, I'm not gonna tell you. You just gotta wait until mid-February to find out, don't you? Edit Gyron. Let's see. What do your parents think of you doing YouTube? Seems like your dad isn't too fond of it. He's just not too fond of me shoving a camera in his face. Like sometimes he enjoys it and it's a fun thing, but other times he's just like, I don't need this today. He's used to it. In terms of like my mother isn't too big of a fan of it. She kind of just deals with it. My dad isn't really a big fan of it either, but they support me and I couldn't ask for really much more. They would be much happier if I was going to school, but there's no reason to spend money at school when you don't care about what you're going to school for. It's a waste of everybody's money and time. What, you wouldn't want to do that. What is your favorite muscle car? Okay, 1970 Dodge Challenger, the one I want. Like that is, in my opinion, the end-all king of muscle cars. Like yeah, like 68, 70 Chargers are cool, but I don't know, man. Something about the Challenger, I need one. Have you ever seen an Opel GT? No, in fact, I don't even know what they look like, come to think of it. Dennis Chemperny, Ayo Jimbo baby, you considering tuning your car? Well, the way you put it like that, yeah, I am. Mr. Pumpex, how raunchy is too raunchy? Good question. Honestly, man, Tyler Cochran, yo, my dude, what's your dream car in 10 years? Mine is a Koenigsegg. In 10 years, oh, I'd love to have a Koenigsegg. Am I ever gonna have a Koenigsegg? Probably not. I mean, I kind of like the Koenigsegg's because the Need for Speed movie, God, that was a terrible movie. But the chase scene though, oh my God. When they were racing the Agueras up and down like the highway and like the race at the beginning, that was cool. And I really liked that car because of that, even though I know damn well in real life those cars not only don't sound like that, I think they use BMW motors for that. They also don't handle like that. But either way, like, I like Agueras. There's no way I'm going to ever be able to afford a Koenigsegg, though. Like, zero way. Mr. Pumpex, would you consider coming down to Houston? Lots of racing culture down there. Yeah, I bet there is. From cars to trucks. Good video opportunities, and I'm interested in getting into filming. Would love to talk. Well, if I ever come to Texas, yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever I do stuff traveling, I'd like to keep people updated. If I'm going down to Florida, I'll say I'm going down to Florida. If I'm going anywhere else, like, I will keep you guys up to date on where I go in the future. So if I'm going to Texas, yeah, hit me up via Gmail. It's in my About section, and maybe we could set something up. I know exactly what we'd be doing in Texas. So, Matt Franzik, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Jimbo, what date will you get the Vette back, and how do you get the money to buy some of the things you own? Okay, so I went over that a little bit already. A lot of the stuff I've been endorsed by my parents, so to speak. In terms of the Corvette, I saved for just most of it. My parents helped me with the last end of it. Buying and selling things here and there, I pay attention to, just a couple different like niche markets on eBay and whatnot. If I see a good deal, sometimes I'll buy something and then sell it afterwards. Or the buying and selling thing is nothing new. Like everyone knows how that stuff works. You buy something when it's low and you sell it when it's high. That's how it goes. Otherwise, anything related to filming is something I'm willing to do. I'm open to it at least. Like even weddings. I don't want to do weddings, but because I know a lot of videographers do weddings. I don't like weddings. In terms of the Vette coming back, like I said, you gotta just stick around. You're gonna see, and I'm gonna drop some teasers. Make sure you're following my Instagram. Original SD Wars. When will we be able to buy merch from you, Jimbo? Also, I have a Bill, Instagram, and Twitter for a while. Right on. For merchandise, there's a couple things I'd like to do with that. I'm waiting until, because I don't just want to immediately, because I know a lot of YouTubers, what they'll do is they'll just Teespring. And that's great. And if that's something that makes the most sense for me, that's what I'll do. Either way, in terms of like merchandise from me, whether it's like a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, or like stickers or like keychains, they're things that I'd like to pursue. But right now I've got a couple other things that are taking away most of my attention that I want to devote my time to this stuff right now. And just a little bit farther down the road, I think I'm going to really like look into doing the merchandise thing. So it's coming. Don't worry. Boosa Bro. That's a good name. Jimbo, what kind of bike are you going to buy? I've subbed since 5K and I've been following you for a while now, and I hit the stupid ass bell thing. See, that's really what that bell should be called. Cool, you've been following me since 5K. That's awesome. In terms of the bike, 954RR. When I can get a bike, that will be the bike I buy. More on that in another video, but I will go into why I want that particular bike. Masquerade Bergeron. I almost pronounced that name on the first try, but it seems like the first try on video because I cut that out. Do you think you would be able to do another video with Street Speed 717? Ask him. Omnomnom12. Are you going to be doing any more stuff with Rob Ferretti? Yes, I will be. Whatever opportunities come, my way. As I said, Rob and I are on good terms. He's still happy to work with me. He even said that to me. It's just mistakes happen. So yeah, in the future, if the opportunity presents itself or he needs my help with something, or whatever the case is, I'd love to do something more with him. Or if I have something of interest that he might like, yeah, we'll definitely do something. So it all depends on, you know, everyone's schedule and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and, you know, making the best possible videos for you guys. Not gonna drive 4 hours to New Jersey just to say, hey. Matthew Jimson, 10K Q&A, NOS, turbo, or blower? All three. You can't put a turbo on a car that has a blower, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd rather probably do turbos. I've driven a turbo car and it was a lot of fun, but then again, I haven't driven a real supercharged car yet, so can't really make a good decision on that one. Typically people put superchargers though on like muscle cars. So maybe muscle, like a supercharger, like a Pro Charger kit, and NOS. That would probably do it. In fact, I think that's what, you know, Cletus McFarland, 1320 video, I think that's what he has. His Vette makes 841 horsepower. That's a good number. Eric Donlin, will there be any vids of you doing burnouts in the Vette anytime soon? Yes, they are coming. So all you gotta do, wait about probably a little bit more than 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks, and you'll start seeing some good shit from the Corvette. Don't worry. Danny Lorena TV, if and when you hit 1 million, you're gonna cry on camera. That won't be difficult. When I hit 100K, I'm gonna end up crying on camera. Charlie Blundell, any new cars, even if it's a later year, Nissan replacement? As I said already, guys, the Nissan has a very special place in my heart. So that car is never gonna be sold. Like if I buy a new daily driver, that car is still gonna be in my life. In terms of like another daily driver, El Camino would be cool. Make that thing really fast. I like G bodies. 1970 Dodge Challenger. That's on the bucket list. That's like I hopefully, you know, somewhere close down the line, you know, whatever. That's the ideal daily driver, like the goal daily driver. But in terms of like in the short term, if anything, like a Nissan replacement would probably be like an Elko, like because it's utilitarian, it will work, and that's all I can really think of at the moment. Isaac Albano, what is your dream, in parentheses, semi-practical daily driver? 1970 Dodge Challenger. That's the one, I've already talked about it, but yeah, that one. Rafi says, you should have a donation fund for your Corvette. I'm so into donating to support your content. That's awesome. I probably will, you know, set up like a Patreon or something. You know, that's typically what people do nowadays. But I know that I turned on the YouTube tip jar, so I think you can donate through there with Google Wallet. I'm also going to put my PayPal that you guys can also donate to if you'd like to. I guess on my YouTube like banner, so if you want to donate there, you can. Like I said, people use the word support instead of donate nowadays to like pretend like they're not talking about money. Guys, we all know what, you know, supporting is when we talk about YouTube world. It means donating money. If you want to donate money to me to support my content, I don't have words to say thanks. Like that's awesome. I really appreciate that, because at the end of the day, when people make videos, you know, it's awesome to have some kind of return on it besides people just saying amazing video. Like that's enough for me. But, you know, having a monetary gain from it, yeah, like everyone wants that. So if you'd like to donate to me, I would love that. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to accept it. It's I hopefully will put the PayPal in my banner, and then there's also the Google Wallet, like the, you know, the donate button on people's channels. Yeah, that's there too. Patreon, I'll keep you guys updated if I ever even do that. Sam's channel. Before you completely melt the tires on your Vette, too late. What would you consider either a track day or a night at the drags? Keep up the great work. You better believe I consider all of that. It's just in due time. That's all gonna happen this year, I guarantee you that. Probably with new rubber on the car. But you know, at the moment there's not too much rubber left, and I think I'm gonna devote that to the next scheme that's coming out. So when I say scheme, I mean, you know, what's coming with the Vette. Kieran asks, why is Kieran so cool? That is a good question. I don't know why you think you're so cool. No, I'm playing. Eric Lee, would you ever consider doing a boat review? I don't think anyone has. Hell yeah, if we got another boat to film that bitch, oh my god, I'll get the drone up. That would be so much fun. Let's do a boat. If it's like a jet boat, that would be fun. Flavortown, is Miata always the answer? In terms of automotive journalism, it basically is. I mean, you really can't. For those who don't know or are not in the loop, Miata is always the answer. I don't remember what automotive journalist said that or what magazine had that, but it was talking about Miatas being, you know, like being perfect. And they basically are if you really think about them. They're dirt cheap to own, they're reliable, they get good gas mileage, they're sporty, they're not fast enough to kill you, you can get them in a stick shift for like little money at all. You got a car that has a convertible top, it, you know, is very easily moddable, there's a very large community around it, and they're fun as shit to drive, even at low speeds, and you can throttle the whole thing. You know, I ran out of fingers. Like, I mean, I should have 11 fingers for this. You know, like, Miatas are so perfect, and that's why originally, before I even wanted a Vette, I was looking at a Miata. Like, you know, I was gonna rock that Miata. Can you imagine me in a Miata? Like, oh god. Sinister asks, Mazda RX-7 Gen 3, smash or pass? I love those cars, rotaries. You know, especially like the last generation RX-7. Everyone loves those old RX-7s. They beat my ass consistently in Need for Speed Underground when I played that game when I was younger. I don't have too much of an interest of owning one per se, especially because nowadays they're almost becoming collector's cars because of, you know, like how expensive they are for an FC. Like an FC nowadays costs like, excuse me, an FD. FDs nowadays, they cost like 19K, 20K, like for one in good condition. Like, hell no, that's ridiculous. Lucas says, Jimbo, man, I love your channel and you, no homo. You have quickly become one of my favorite YouTubers. I'm reading this wrong. But basically, love the C4 Corvettes. I'm a Dodge guy. Okay, cool. And I love your vet and the other C4s. Keep up the amazing work. I would love to meet you one day. I'd love to meet you too. Come down to Maryland. My question is, what is your dream project car? Something that I can shove 2,000 horsepower into, probably. Cameron says, hey Jimbo, been here since your sub count was in the hundreds. Wow, okay, cool. My question is, what is your ultimate goal with YouTube? To be able to wake up in the morning, make a video, and be able to have enough money that I have made from making content that I can support myself and continue making better videos. And at the same time, making content that people really genuinely like. Like they see the video, they watch it, they enjoy it. One of my absolute favorite things in life is making other people smile. So when I see, you know, my friends smile from a video I made or something I got them or showed them, you know, that makes my day. You know, like when I see their smile, like even if I had to stay up like 48 hours to do something, that's what makes it worth it. But that's my ultimate goal with YouTube. Matthew asks, what do you enjoy most about doing YouTube as a hobby / job? Well, considering I do take it as a job and I take it very seriously, you know, probably my favorite thing is when I make the video. I kind of touched on this earlier, but when I make the video and I share it and I get messages or I get comments of people saying like, I genuinely enjoyed the video. It's not just like a, you know, like a pity comment, like great work, you know, but you know, a genuine comment. You know, that really makes it for me. I love seeing that. Or like when people reach out to me, it's like, hey, you know, I really love your stuff. Do you think one day if I came up to you, like, could I meet you or could you review my car? Like that hits home big time. Doing YouTube like a full-time job is incredibly stressful and very, very difficult. You know, it's probably one of the hardest jobs in the world. You know, people will say, yeah, bullshit, try it. There's a million and one things to worry about between finances, between sponsorships, between, you know, a whole bunch of shit. Then you got to always be improving, keeping your editing in check, keeping your camera work in check, keeping whatever you're doing in check and making sure you're staying current and staying with the times, always innovating, doing new things. It's a lot different than showing up to a 9-to-5 job. You know, I'm always working on YouTube. Like there's not a point where I could just sit down and play video games. Honestly, I don't want to. All I'm interested in doing is advancing what I'm doing here. Toby asks, congrats on 10K. What is one YouTube personality that you would love to meet and work with? I would really like to meet, Adam's on my list. These are people that I kind of like look up to. Adam's on my list. I'd love to say what's up to Tanner and we can make a video. Another person that's on my list, Casey. Oh God. He's one of those people that I'd meet and I'd kind of be speechless. Like I would kind of just have to slowly take it in, you know? But you know, these are some of these people that, you know, I genuinely look up to and I like watching their videos and they're people I'd love to collaborate with in the future. And you know, some people think, oh, collaborations, you're just trying to use people for subs. Oh God, no. Like, I mean, it's other people that have a similar passion to me. And YouTubers, I gotta tell you, are some of the funnest people to hang out with because you're all passionate about the same thing, one way or another. Dollars Podcast asks, so Jimbo, what is a fetish of yours? Nothing really in particular. I don't have anything that I fancy, so to speak, or really kind of want to share on here anyway. So, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, I guess. Chase Higgins, what is your favorite import car? Oh, I don't remember the last time I thought about imports, to come to think of it, so I really don't know. I love 240s, they're classics, and oddly enough, looking at your profile picture, I know you have one. I think you messaged me on Instagram once. Wait a minute, hold up. Scratch all of that. 300ZX and 350Z. Okay, we're done. Like that, there we go. I love 350Zs. Jack asks, why do you look like Ozzy Osbourne minus the hair and those circle sunglasses? Good fucking question. I have no idea. Ask Jesus. He's the one who really brought me into this world besides my mama. Robert asks, how much time does it take you to film each day? That is completely 100% dependent on what I am filming. If I'm filming a video like this one's taking an extreme amount of time because I'm answering every single one of you guys' questions. For a normal like car vlog, it's whatever time it takes to film the video. So typically anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, and then you chop that up into a video. My documentaries, oh geez. Like Jeffrey's video, that was a bunch of different film days that I did that. We just split it up when we had time. Ferretti, I did all in one day. That was an entire day shoot. And when I don't just mean like a 8-hour or 12-hour workday, I literally mean basically 24 hours of like video shooting between the vlogging and the actual shoot. I don't take breaks much when I film stuff. I film until I have what I need, and then I kind of have a gauge in my own head of like how much I need, so to speak. And I just keep filming until I have it. And I know that I'm going to get to an age at some point where I just can't physically do that, but I'm going to run that train until I can't anymore. So yeah, it's all relative. Typically a video though, like in post-production, will take anywhere between 3 to 7 hours. Like if it's a vlog, and then like the documentaries that took at least like Ferretti's video in post had at least 70 man hours, and that was like straight. Like there wasn't any, like I slept a little bit in between like the days, but like it was got home from the shoot, started editing, slept for like 3-5 hours, edited, slept for 3 to 5 hours, edited until I was able to upload it on Christmas. All Teens Garage. I have an 03 S10 gold with black stripes. Ooh, that sounds cool. What should I name it? Robert. I don't know why that name comes to my head, but Robert. That sounds like a good name. Tactical Gaming asks, what do you think of the 5th to 6th gen Camaro? I don't know, man. I mean, I think the 5th, you know, like they revived the Camaro kind of, like they went back to the original styling. They went to that like retro styling I was talking about. I'm not a big fan of. I think it's better than some of the stuff they had done in the past, you know, like after their classics and, you know, the era of which they were very famous. But, you know, it's just, there's too much plastic, there's too much impact molding. The cars, you know, nowadays, almost all of them look the same. The coupes look like the coupes. The, you know, the 4-door sedans look like 4-door sedans. Chevy's Impala looks like an overweight Camry. Like, you know, it's the kind of thing where cars kind of look the same, and it's just, they don't excite me. Like, the motors excite me, but the actual body styling, it's like, whatever. Matt West. Hey, Jimbo, congratulations on 10K. What was the biggest hurdle you faced in reaching 10K? Keep up the good work. Can't wait to see you hit 100K. Thank you. For 10K, it was really just staying motivated, trying to keep an upload schedule, even when you put all, because sometimes, you know, you put a whole shit ton of effort into a work and then nobody sees it, like view count wise. Like, it's like, what the fuck, you know? Like, I just spent 10 hours editing that video and only got 1,000 views. Are you kidding me? That's happened to me. But the thing is, I try not to look at it like that, because as soon as I start looking at it like that, I become discouraged, you know, motivation just goes down the fucking toilet and nothing gets done. And, you know, there's no point, you know, sometimes you feel bad and you're just sitting on the couch like, what am I going to do? Is this even going to work out? Should I keep doing YouTube? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then I'm sitting here like, why am I sitting down contemplating this? It's not going to change anything unless I make a change. So if I want YouTube to work, I gotta make it work. I just keep grinding out new videos, or I keep looking for different ways to make my videos better and keep chasing new opportunities. And the more I do that, the luckier I seem to get. And yeah, dude, like the hardest thing I ever faced with facing 10K was just keeping going, even when I thought nobody was watching or nothing was happening or the channel wasn't growing. It's Doc GTFO, before I fry your shit. That definitely sounds like a gaming YouTuber. Jim, did you have a gaming channel before this? Yes, I did. And you have to do the digging to figure out what it is. Like I said, you search hard enough, you'll find it on the internet. Automotive Guru asks, Q&A is a great idea. Well, thank you. My one question is, was the Corvette your very first car? No, it was the Altima. And what other cars did you own for your first? My Instagram. Oh, cool. So he's the only person that provided any way for me to actually prove that people, like, you know, like hit me up on Instagram and also like hit me up on Twitter. Like, that's the only person. My first car was the Altima. The first car I ever drove was my mom's SUV. I took it for a joyride. Yeah, Altima's the first car, then the Corvette. Hamza asks, why don't you get a BMW as a daily driver instead of a Nissan? I have absolutely no interest in BMWs. Jogo 101, I wonder who this person is. Do I know this person? Here's a question. What sub count were you when I met you? Joe, that's a good fucking question. It wasn't high. I think it was like 4,000 or 5,000, something maybe like that, or 35. You know, it definitely wasn't nothing spectacular, I'll tell you that much. Brian asks, would you ever sell the Corvette for anything else? Absolutely not. That car has been a dream car of mine and will stay in my possession for the rest of my life. Ven Kelly asks, what kind of car would you get after the Vet? Like I said, I think the next purchase of mine is going to be a bike, hopefully. It all depends on what my parents are going to say. But as I said, I got some things to tell you about that, you know, like make sure to subscribe to the channel so you get the update of when the video comes out of me talking about that, which should be soon. Sooner than the Corvette, like a couple days maybe. Hell, I could do the video tomorrow, I don't give a fuck. In terms of a car though, 64 Impala, hydraulics, done. MS Lytic 1385, I know I just butchered that, but where do you see yourself in 10 years? Hopefully I'm still doing YouTube stuff, like that's the goal. The Racing Dude asks, Jimbo, would you take the Vet on a road trip down to Florida for any fans? Yes, I would. Actually, there's another YouTuber I know down there that we might be able to do something and then do like a hookup, like a fan meetup or something. Yeah, I definitely do that. I just need more of an outlet than just seeing people, because otherwise it's kind of hard to make videos there, and it's hard to justify the expenses of going down there, because you got to think about gas, you got to think about, say the car were to break down. You just got to be careful, you know? Like, I mean, I don't just happen to have like $400 worth of gas to blow, you know? Like, that's towards other stuff. So when the opportunity presents itself, I will maximize my time down wherever I am to make sure I can meet some of you guys. Halt One Jacob Connor. Oh, what is your favorite car of all time? Not a clue. I have lots of cars I'm interested in, so to speak, so there isn't one specific car. Actual Kenny asks, who is your biggest inspiration for starting the channel, and where did you learn the camera knowledge you have? Well, like I said, kind of just, you know, like film stuff has always just made sense to me. You know, like some people are gifted in like designing stuff in Photoshop. Some people are good at, you know, like playing a violin. Some people are good at clay. Some people are good at drawing. Filming is just what's made sense to me. So that's what I pursue, and that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Making videos about cars, you know, all that stuff. In terms of some of like the theory, so to speak, you know, if you show me a short film at like from a film festival, I could break it down. You know, I could talk about, you know, like the ins and the outs with the mood, the lighting, you know, like choice of scenery, mise-en-scène, all that film gobbledygook, you know, like that, all that nonsense. You know, I know that stuff from taking the film class I took in high school for 2 years, which was a college level class. But that's where the theory comes from. The rest of it's from right here. In terms of biggest inspiration, like really going for YouTube, probably Casey. Something you said a long time ago is just like, if what you want to do doesn't require college, go do that. You don't need a piece of paper that says, you know, like, congratulations, you know, you have this, that, and the other degree to make videos. Like, look what I'm doing right now. I don't need a degree for this. I'm doing it right now. Jagger Wolf asks, will we ever meet sometime? Come to Katie's, you'll see me. What is the one thing you hate about your Vette? What is your favorite color besides red? As my grandfather once said, is there any other color? What is the one thing I hate about my Vette though? The fact that, you know, like there's a bunch of squeaks, and probably the target top, you know, still squeaks even though the damn thing is like screwed down all the way because the mounting was so stupid the way they designed it. That's about it though. Everything else is pretty damn good. Like everything else works perfect on the car. Like, I mean, it's great. And that, oh my God, I think I just answered every single question. If I missed your question for some reason, please, for the love of God, I'm sorry. I might not have seen it. I was scrolling through all of these, you know, like maybe I just didn't answer one that was more of a comment instead of a question, because I still want to be able to, I don't want the video to be 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, that's the name of the game here. At the same time, like, I still want you guys to be able to watch this. If you missed this opportunity, or you commented on the video after me recording this, which is a complete possibility. In fact, I'm gonna see right now. What do you do for a living? YouTube! I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you watched the entire video to this far, please, for the love of God, drop a like for me. And also, if you haven't already, which I bet you have if you've watched this far. If not, great. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for me. And as I've said before, hit that stupid bell thing for me. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, even though nobody gives a shit about Facebook. I don't do Snapchat, and I don't think I ever will do Snapchat, but you know, like, that might change soon. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. All of you have a fantastic day, and I cannot wait for 100K.